Hey folks, this is Noble Rambler, or should I say Farmer Rambler. We're starting a new series, Farming Simulator 17. Been waiting for months for this thing to come out. Got a lot of hours logged into Farming Simulator 2013 and then 15. Not so much in 15. 13 I really enjoyed. I spent a lot of time building up the map and you know, I think I'd bought probably half of the fields on what was that one called? Westbridge Hills, I think is what that was called, that map, and just had a blast with it. 2015, actually 15, not 2015, didn't have enough changes in it to really give me the sense that I needed to put a whole bunch of effort into it. So I played it for a while and got kind of bored because I'd done all of it in 2013. So here, Farming Simulator 17, there are quite a few changes. New map, and this has got the Goldcrest Valley, and it's got the Sosnovka map with it. So both are very well built maps. One is a European sense to it. This is more American. So different size fields, different size roads, different kind of equipment. I think the equipment's different, but don't quote me on that one. But anyway, this series here, I've been trying to figure out just how to do it. I'm going to kind of wander around the map while I'm talking. How to do a series like this. I had thought about maybe recording one day per episode and seeing what we can do in a day, but it's going to be too random that way. I might be, I could be several days or several episodes in just one day. Oh, there's a greenhouse over here. No way to interact with the buildings, though. You just got to look in. So what I think I'm going to do is keep it at speed 1, and which is real time, 1 minute for 1 minute, and just kind of explore the map, do all the things, and teach everything that I know to do, so that you guys can, if you've never played the game before, you get a sense of what to do. Got chickens over here. So let's head back to the truck. Now, let's talk a little bit about controls while I'm doing it. I had to buy a new mouse in order to do this, in order to play this game. I set, let's see, this mouse has got a DPI switch, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is what would have been my normal mouse speed right here. So a full mouse pad only gets me to there, and that's with the mouse sensitivity at its max. So I end up having to scroll back and forth, and you get the sound of my mouse banging as I'm trying to lift it and swing it over and do this and that. So I bought a better mouse that has a sensitivity switch or a DPI switch on it, so that I can swing around all of this with just one movement of the mouse. Hopefully nobody is nauseous after that, but that's one kind of a flaw that I've always found in Farming Simulator, is that the mouse sensitivity never really works with the normal settings for a computer. I've had to go into the XML files, I think it's called what was it called? Game Input XML, something like that, and actually rewrite some of the code in order to get the sensitivity up high enough. But I tried that this time and it didn't work. I rewrote the lines and it didn't change anything in game no matter what I did. So when I bought a better mouse, this one is the Logitech G403. It's got a couple of buttons over at the thumb, which I'll use for some of the activities we do the most on, and I think it's going to be a great improvement. I've also got a steering wheel, Logitech steering wheel. It's an older one. I found it at a garage sale one day for $10. Couldn't pass on it. USB. It's not too old. It's. I think the game will recognize it. I haven't tried yet. Don't have room on my desk to really use the steering wheel right now. So before the series is over, we'll have moved into a new studio. We're going to rearrange some of the house here and get me into a different room. It'll give me a much bigger desk, and I'll get the steering wheel set up. And then I'll be able to use the steering wheel, but I do have the foot pedals set up. So I've got the steering wheel on the floor down there, but I've got the foot pedals set up so that I can use the accelerator and brake. And I keep going back to the pickup here because I want to do some driving around, but there's still more to talk about. Let's go out to the fields. I want to use the accelerator and the brake because when you're trying to drive with WASD, it's extreme or full on and full off. There's no variance. Steering is difficult. You can't just steer a little bit to the right. It goes all the way to the right or all the way to the left. So that's where the steering wheel would really help with a game like this. But I just don't have the room on this desk to do that right now. So I'm going to use the foot pedal, which doesn't require any rooms down underneath, and I can at least get some kind of basic control back by doing that. But while we're here, let's go through, let's hit the escape button. I'm on the PC version, so I don't know what it is like on the consoles, so I won't be able to offer any advice for consoles. But for PC, hit the escape, and you've got all kinds of statistics or settings to deal with in here, as well as maps and all kinds of stuff. We'll go through all this eventually, but I want to start here. General settings. I've had to take vehicle volume all the way down to 10% just so you can hear me while the harvester's running. So harvester is quite loud. It's a lot of fun when you're not recording. It's really immersive. It's like actually being there. Crank the speakers up, get some bass going, and you almost feel the rumble of the machinery. But for the sake of a Let's Play series, I'm going to have to take it all the way down to 10, down to 50% for the environmental sounds. So the chickens, head over there, were so loud they were just squawking and screaming. You couldn't hear me talking when I did a quick little test video. So I've taken them down to 50%, and everything else that's in the area, the birds chirping, and I think there's sounds of wind and quite a few other sounds. But let's work our way through this, kind of explain as much as I can. Money. Okay. You've got dollar, euro, and pound. So I'm going to set up for dollar. Going to set the measurements to miles. And interactive zone markers. Okay, these will give you yellow and black marks on the ground to tell you where you need to park your vehicle to do different things. And until you get used to the game, that's important to have on. You spend a lot of time not knowing what to do if these aren't working. You've got a radio now in the vehicles, and you can turn it on, listen to different radio stations, as well as some radio stations over the web, over the internet. So actual radio stations. But because of licensing issues with YouTube, I don't dare turn these on, or my videos will all get flagged and kicked off of YouTube, so I'm not going to touch those. Now that's interesting, whether you want to hear the radio in the vehicle or outside the vehicle. That's kind of interesting. I haven't tried that. It'd be nice if the sound faded away the further you walked away. I don't know if it's that in-depth or not. What else here? Switch to trains. If you hit the tab button, you can switch from vehicle to vehicle. I'm not going to be doing that, or at least not very often, unless there's something I just need to show you. So otherwise, I'm going to try and play this a lot more realistic. I've been watching Daggerwin. Daggerwin? Is that his name? I think that's right. And he plays it extremely realistically, and I like his style. I like the way he does that, where actually you play it as if you were there. And if you were there, you wouldn't be able to hit the tab button and switch from your truck to your harvester. You'd want to drive the truck over to the harvester, get out, and get in the other. And that's kind of the way I'm going to play it. So this allows you to switch to the trains, which you can drive in this version. And I'm going to switch that one to off. There's no point in heading over there like that. If we want to drive the trains, we'll actually go over to it. And we will. That's one of the things I want to show you soon. So volumes we've gone through. Let's go to the next settings here. Oh, what do you want to call the game save? Time scale. 7 and 8 on the keyboard moves you from, I think, 1-to-1 to goes all the way up to 120 speed, I believe it is. So you're moving really fast through time. So if you are at nighttime and you want to get to the next morning, then you can take it to the most extreme time right there. Otherwise, we're going to go 1-on-1, get as much done during the day. Driving at night is interesting. You can see all the lights. All the vehicles have headlights and flashers, and it's really quite dramatic to watch. But it doesn't record that well. And so while I will play myself at night, harvesting the fields or what have you, just for fun, it's going to be hard to record it that way. So there will be times I'll need to speed it up to get through the night to get into the next morning. Traffic, you've got cars that move around on the roads, and you can determine whether you want to deal with that or not. And these may also have to do with, let's see, dirt, speed at which your machinery gets dirty. Oh, okay. I was going to say, graphics and whether your system can handle it, but that's particle effects, and that's outside of the game to change those settings. But your vehicles can become dirty, a little more realistic. How fast? slow. Let's go for slow for now. Or you can just turn it off completely. You can run a pressure washer that will clean it up. It's kind of fun. Automatic engine start is going to be off. I want to start up my own engines. A lot of things have changed from the previous versions to this one. This one, we're going to find that your hours in the vehicle count against you. The more runtime is on the engine, the more wear the vehicle has, the more it costs to continue to maintain it, the less it's worth when you go to sell it. So I would think that has to do with the engine running at all, not just moving forward. So I want to, not only for the realism of turning on the engine myself, but to have it constantly running every time you're just sitting there talking is going to work against you. Stop and go braking. Let's work with keyboard, WASD. So W goes forward and S goes backward. And you can hit S to hit your brakes, and then it'll automatically start to reverse after it has come to a complete stop. Or you can turn that off here, and you've got to let go and then press it again to start going backwards. That's probably more realistic, but I'm so used to just doing it the other way that I will spend too much time trying to relearn that and retrain my brain, so I can leave that one alone. Fuel usage. What have we got here? How much fuel is consumed by your machinery? So default or low. Fuel doesn't seem to be as big of an issue, so I'm going to leave it at default. You don't seem to plow through the gasoline that quickly, or diesel, or whatever it is that we're talking about. Now, this right here is important. It's easiest you can, let me reword that, you can hire helpers to run a piece of equipment while you are doing something else. So you can have somebody running your harvester while you've got your tractor and trailer running alongside and having him dump into your trailer. You can choose whether to have your helper buy his own fuel, his own seed, fertilizer, and all the different things that he will be using when operating the equipment. But it comes at a very premium cost. It's much cheaper to go out, buy it yourself, load up the machinery so that it's ready for him when you hire him to help. And that's the more realistic way, so that's the way I'm going to do it. But it's super expensive to have them do it for you. So we're going to set all of these guys to off so that we're responsible to get all of our equipment ready for the hired help. Oh, we have more choices here. Okay. We'll figure out what all that means later. Plant growth. You can speed it up, or you can slow it down, or you can keep it normal. We're going to keep it normal for now until we figure out what that's all about and what normal is. But you can set it to much faster so that you can get through a complete harvest from planting to harvesting faster if that's your goal. But we'll go with normal for now. Plant withering. Crops will wither when left on the field too long. So we'll get into what that means. We're going to leave it on. But after your plants are ready to harvest, you've only got a certain amount of time to get in there and get it done, which isn't an issue when you're starting off. You only have a couple of fields. But when you've got 10 fields going and 5 of them are ready to harvest all at once, and you're hiring the harvester to run 3 of them, and you're trying to run tractors between them, trying to dump them, and it can get quite exciting. Let's put it that way. We're going to leave that on. Periodic plowing required. This is new. Now you've got to plow your field. It's good for, I believe, 3 yields, and that boosts the production, the yield of your harvest. So by keeping it on, it adds a little more realism to it. It aerates the soil and makes it grow better. You can choose whether you want to fertilize once and is good enough for the whole thing, or fertilize for 3 different stages. There's 3 stages of plant growth, and if you fertilize between each stage, it'll add 30% yield to each for each of those stages that you do fertilize. So we're going to do that as well. Give us things to do, especially at the beginning. Maybe later we'll take that back down to a 1, just because there'll be so much more going on. But right now there's not going to be a lot going on, so let's give us something to do. You pause the game here. That's the only place I found the pauses. Oh, wait, I take that back. There is the pause button on the keyboard that's triggered, so we can do it that way. But on one speed, or 1 for 1, real time, they call it, that's not really an issue. I could sit here for an hour, and it's only going to go from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., so we're not really worried about pausing it. Unlike a game like RimWorld or banished or any of those, to where a lot can happen while you're sitting and talking. So that is this screen. Here's a help screen, basically all the categories, and it'll tell you what you need to know to play the game. So it's good to have that there. Map overview. We are right here. And can I zoom in? I can. Oh, nice. So we are, let's see, where did my little flasher go? We're right there at the chicken coop. No pop-ups? If I click on it. I'm looking for, there it is, chicken coop. So you can click on these things. What is that yellow? That yellow is our harvester. And can't quite get into there. Next vehicle near it, I take it. Okay. So anyway, you can sort your fields. Let me zoom back out again. Got your little town over here. You've got all these fields available. And unlike all the other previous versions, this one, these fields are all owned by somebody. Before, they were just vacant fields sitting out there, and you eventually went and bought them. It's kind of odd. This is feeling a lot more realistic. These are all owned by people, and very rich people, apparently, because they pay very well to have you do the work for them. So they're rich, lazy farmers out here. And a town full of zombies. We'll head over there and take a look at them someday soon. But anyway, you can sort your map by all of these categories. It's all interactive. So you can turn everything off. If you just want to find the wheat fields on the map, there they are. As well, this lower set of sidebars here instead of the upper ones, you can look to see at what stage of growth they're in. Whether they've been cultivated, whether they are growing, different shades of green. This looks to be, what would you say, maybe that second growth out of 4 there. Whether they're ready to harvest. We have one ready to harvest right now. We'll get to that one this episode. There's some over there to harvest. And harvested. So this one's already been harvested, and it's ready to be plowed under. So different way to sort through the map. See how things, how things are. Also, you're fertilizing. Right now, everything needs plowing, and nothing has been fertilized. That's what I'm guessing. Oh, if I turn off plowing, yeah. So everything needs to be done. All right, so that's map overview, as well as you can get to your different vehicles. So if I were to, we've already chosen the harvester. If I were to click on it, nope, if I were just hit enter, I'd be right there. Okay, so that's one way to, oh, what's the word? I can't think of what it is now, to jump through the map. What do you call it in Skyrim when you teleport? That's the way you teleport on this map if you choose to do that. E gets you back out of there and you walk around again. So WSD works for you walking around. I think Shift gives you a sprint, C gives you a crouch. So typical controls you'll find in most games, most first-person open world sort of games. Back to here, where were we? Let's move to the next one. Prices. Okay. Different locations on your map offer different prices at different times. And scroll over here, you've got more choices. Nope. How do I go? Right here? There it is. So you can scroll this way. So more products and from all these different places. So some will have different needs, and so they're paying a better price. So you want to check this one to see not only where you want to take your product to sell, but maybe even decide what you want to be planting this time of year, because it looks like soy is doing really good right now. And let's see, there's no pop-ups, so you're just going to have to learn the symbols. That's canola, that's barley, that's wheat, sunflower, corn, or maize it's also called. I'm thinking that's potato. That would be sweet potato. I just looked over at this. No, that's not a steaming pile of dew. That's silage. I'm thinking silage, a form of compost. Let's move over this way. Quite a symbol there. Anyway, yeah, there's more things here. We'll figure these out as we go. Number of dots down here tell you how many windows you've got available. So, oh, I see. So that's this guy up here. Okay. Vehicles. The vehicles that we own right now, And we started off with 3 tractors, a cultivator, and some miscellaneous things, including the pickup, which they call the Lizard. Is Lizard actually a brand, or is that something invented by Farming Simulator? I've never heard of a Lizard pickup before. So we're going to go drive our Lizard around. But basically what it's costing a day to have it in maintenance fees. Now these seem extremely high. So one way you've got to think about this game is that time is greatly accelerated. Yes, we're going real time 1-for-1 right now, but you're going to be able to harvest in 3 or 4 days. So in 3 or 4 days, an entire season is going to go by. So if something costs just a huge amount of money and it costs thousands of dollars a day to run it, it's like having it for a couple of months for each of those days. So it's if you spread it out that way in your mind, it isn't so strange. Paying $1,000 or a couple $1,000s for a pressure washer seems ridiculous, but that pressure washer is actually the equivalent to have bought several pressure washers over several years by the time you actually get done with using it. So if you think of it that way, it makes more sense. We've got a couple of Case IH tractors. This guy. Actually, where are they at? These two right here, the 1455s. One of them is 88 days old, and this one is 72 days old. So the one that has more time on it is costing us more per day in maintenance fees, and it's worth less than the one that is a little bit newer. So as you run your equipment into the ground and wear it out, it's going to cost you more in repair bills to keep it going, and it's going to sell for less when you go to sell it. So in that sense, it helps you to kind of figure out if it's time to sell off and do something different. It's kind of a gauge here to see how you're doing. What else we have? Finances. We start off, let's see here, right there. We start off this game with a loan of $75,000. So we owe $75,000. We have $20,000 in the bank, so our net worth is a negative $55,000. So we've got to make enough money to pay off our loan. Say we just inherited this farm, and whoever had it before wasn't doing that great. Left us some equipment. There is a field ready to harvest, but for the most part, we're going to have to start from the ground up. So we got to pay off the old debt before we really start counting our own profits here. So your finances, as we get going, you'll see numbers start popping into here, and by day, maybe we'll think of a day as a month. Maybe that's a comparable way of looking at it. So, this month, next month, the month after that. After finances, we have our animals: sheep, pigs, cows. Those are the main animals here. Chickens don't really show up much here, except that you can gather the eggs, and there's places to sell the eggs. But you've got to, let's see here. How do we best describe it? Let's work with pigs. You've got to water them. Here's a percentage of how much water's there, cleanliness, how much straw they have for bedding, 4 different kinds of food. The more variety you give them, the better off they are. And the better you take care of them, the more the productivity is going to go up, and the faster they're going to reproduce. And the faster they're going to make manure for you to use in your fields. So the better you take care of your animals, the better off you are in the whole sense of your economy. Cows, sheep, the same way. They'll create wool to sell. The cows will create milk that will sell at the end of the day. So all of these are money producers for you, and they have different requirements to keep them alive and keep them happy, and to gain more from having them. Statistics of everything you've done in the game. Basically what you're seeing here, and all these will start going up. How many eggs are in the coop? How many eggs are in your backpack that you're going to take over to sell? Your storage capacity. Okay. Workers currently hired. Yep, good stuff in here. And we've already gone through the game settings and the help. Well, we haven't gone through the help. Let's just kind of glance through real quick. Crops. So here are the different crops. If you need to figure out how to do something, how does this work? Double click. Okay, I haven't actually done this. It should be a little more obvious, this, huh? Okay, hidden crops. These are the crops that are available. I'm not seeing any way to look at the next thing. Maybe this is as far as it goes. I thought it was more in depth than this. Oh well, we'll figure it out the hard way. So anyway, let's get out of this and got more of our ambient noises showing up again. Sprint over to our lizard pickup, and yeah, I'm going to try my best. When I play a game like this, it's nothing for me to swing over. What was that? Move around, and I've got to try to get myself to a little trained to be able to take things a little more calm with the swinging around, because you can get kind of nauseous watching a game like this. I understand that. Now I've got my new mouse set up with the center scroll wheel click switch as the ignition. So that starts us up. And C will take you into the cab. You can look around. All these vehicles have been pretty painstakingly reproduced inside. Even the dirt down on the floorboard. Got a radio in there, and your mirror. All the mirrors work. It is so cool. So steering wheel, spin it around. That's my A and D. W and S will make you go back and forward. As well, my pedals. So I'll grab the pedal there. I can turn around and look behind and turn the steering wheel and do it the wrong way and back up over here. Now if I hit my keyboard W, I go to full speed. And this thing will hit 80 miles an hour. And you are rooster tailing back and forth down that road, out of control, taking out mailboxes and you name it. And they do fall over. You hit a signpost, it goes down. So pretty soon your map is looking pretty bad. So that's why I wanted to get the foot pedals going. So now I can take it up to just the speed that I want and kind of maintain that. Unfortunately though, still the steering is all the way. So if I hold the button down, it goes all the way over. I can't just do it a little bit. So if I want to turn a little bit, I've got to just kind of tap the key and just work it over slowly. So that part's not going to feel very realistic. Let me pop out of here. I can get a little more of the engine noise and I get more perspective on my environment. But we can drive around like so. So unfortunately, you're going to hear my keyboard tapping once in a while when I'm trying to steer. But at least I got rid of the mouse noise of having to bang this mouse around trying to spin myself around. Let's pop over here real quick. I've got used to my pedal. Let me slide it closer to me there so that... There we go. Yeah, that's a little better. Anyway, let's turn off the ignition, pop out of here, walk over. All of the fields are going to have this little interactive area. Stand next to it, hit the R, and you can interact with Alex Young. So Farmer Young over here, who owns field number 19, he will sell this field for $46,000. It is about a half of a hectare, which I'm trying to remember how that compares to acres. I want to say a hectare is about 3 acres. I have to check up on that, make sure that's right. So a couple of acres, we'll say, over here. That is planted in, boy, what is that? Kind of looks like sweet potatoes. I'm not sure on that one. Anyway, he's asking for someone to fertilize his, does it say here? Fertilize for me, does not say the name. Okay. He will pay us about $2,000 to do this if we can get it done in less than 4.5 minutes. The faster you do it, the more he'll give you a bonus as an appreciation for doing a fast and good job. So you've got to hit 90-some% of the field, probably close to like 95%. There'll be a little countdown window that'll count you down, let you know how you're doing. And the faster you get it done, the more you get for it. So this was one way to create funds to buy tractors with out in the field. And what I like to do, I'm going to back out of this, but what I like to do is get my workers on my equipment, get them working, and while they're doing their job, head out and do a field. And that'll bring in some extra money and help you to pay the workers. Let's see, let's go that pedal. Okay. So fingers are doing the steering and feet are doing the pedals. Kind of like driving a real car, but I'm not used to it yet, so it's going to take me a while. You're going to see me bumping into things trying to figure this all out. But I can see where this episode is going to go by really fast, and I will not have actually done anything. There's a lot of explaining to do at the beginning. Whenever I do a series on a new game, I like to spend that first series really teaching the game. So I'm not going to act like I know everything and just, you know, just jump in and get things going. I want to explain what I'm doing and why. So there's going to be a lot of time with me just spent walking around, and that's interesting. My foot pedal is making me walk faster. There's W down there, but if I put my foot down, I'm sprinting. Huh, okay. Anyway, we've got here a harvester. This is a Case International. It is an axial flow 1660. And what makes it even easier this time than the last game, or at least 13, I don't think it did it in 15 either, is when you jump into these things, the game tells you what you jumped into. You got down there at the bottom of the screen, so that's really nice. And as far as figuring out which tractor you got into. So F1 will give you the list of all of your controls for this particular piece of equipment. So that's nice. You don't have to jump out and go look at a menu or grab that printout of all of the keyboard commands. It's right there in front of you. That helps out a lot. So go to cab, look around here, turn that off, and look at all the controls in this thing. Unfortunately, they don't all operate. They're not interactive as much as I would like. It'd be great if all the different controls moved as the tractor moved. You know, the gear shift moved as you took off and went back into neutral when you stopped or whatever. What does work is the speedometers, which I'm guessing is at 0.0 right there. That's about all that really works inside, except for the radio. That will turn on now. Your steering wheel, of course, moves. The pedals, I don't think they move up and down, so it's just the steering wheel. And the lights do work. Home turns on your beacon, and F turns on your front lights. Do it again, they'll turn on any rear lights that the vehicle has. And then your high beams down there on your next F, and then one more turns it all off. So you've got that one. Let's see, on me, let's see, the ignition, I think is enter. Yeah, the ignition is enter, but I've got it triggered to my mouse as well. And Q, let's turn on F1 so you can watch this as I'm doing it. Q will attach your various pieces of equipment, and then your mouse wheel will scroll you in and out. So you can scroll in like this and do that, as well as, well, on yours, the page up and down will scroll. For me, that's my Fraps control, so I've mapped it over to the plus and minus on the keypad. So minus goes in and plus goes out. That little intro video that I created, I had the hardest time trying to move the mouse and roll that wheel in any kind of a uniform, smooth way, and I spent hours trying to figure that out and failing. Until I finally realized I could do the keyboard. I can sweep around and hit the minus and just sweep in there, and oh, that was so much easier. So that's how I made that. But what else do we have here? O brings your pipe out when you need, nope, that's the 0. 0 is your horn. That's a pathetic little horn for this beast. Okay. But the 0 will pop your pipe out when you need to dump your grain into whatever's waiting there for you. And unfold the combine is X. Okay. Well, first of all, we're going to attach the equipment. But W and S moves you around, or your pedals. You line yourself up to where that rectangular area there mounts to that rectangular hole down there in the front. Hit the Q and it will not do anything. Move forward a little bit. Try that again. There we go. And it'll give you a little bit of an animation as it attaches. And then we've got to unfold our equipment. There is a tutorial that you can play, and it will show you all of these steps. I've already run through those just to see if there's anything new. And there are a few things new from 15 and 13, so you will want to do the tutorials if you haven't already. X, not much to unfold on this machine. It's just that right there. This harvester is actually a pretty good harvester. So if you played Farming Simulator 15, you started with an old rickety thing, a little bit of rust on it. This is actually a really nice piece of equipment for starting off. And now that you've unfolded, you've got, let's see, look over at the list of controls there. Your mouse buttons will do some things. If you hold down the left button, you can see it changes your menu over there in the top left. And side to side will slide you up and down. and then up and down will lower this. So depending on the crop you're doing, I don't think in-game it actually makes any difference. I think it's more for role-playing. I haven't noticed any difference. But for different crops, you'll want to raise it up so you're just whipping the seeds off the top of the stalks of the straw to to get just the seed in there, the kernels. Otherwise, what's down below will slice it off. You can see some teeth down there. Unfortunately, I don't have a pointer to point, or do I? If I hit this, kind of. If I can zoom out, no, he's always going to be centered in there, so I can't do this and then point at something. But right at the bottom of the harvester there, you see a bunch of teeth that will move side to side. Can I turn those on? Kind of. Everything's animated, but they're not moving side to side. I thought they'd be slicing back and forth. They'll cut off the stalk down below, toss it into that auger down there, which will grind it all up and spit it out the back end there, whereas the top will whip the seeds off the stalks and send that into the top of here, and we'll get to see all that going. I love the animations on the equipment in this game. Very realistic. And there I am, sitting in front, ready to, let's see, do I steer? Oh, it works. So the bee turned on the harvester, what do you call the piece in the front? Does it tell me there? Let's see. G will move from equipment to equipment. G, there we are. So does it tell me, calls it the head. Okay. Now if you look down at the bottom right of the screen, you'll see a tiny little gray tractor down there. So you hit the G, you get to choose which piece of equipment you want the controls to be operating. So when you've got several things going, you've got the head out front, you've got the harvester, or let's say a tractor. Let's say a mower deck out front, a tractor in the middle, and then you hit it again, you'll go to the mower decks that are maybe on the back or the sides. Or I've had a tractor with a weight in front, so that would be 1G is the weight, 1 is the tractor, and then I've had 3 trailers out the back end, kind of like a train. You can choose which trailer you want to tell it to dump off to the side. So you need to be switching that G button back and forth to choose the piece of equipment you want to be operating. Otherwise, you think you're dumping one and suddenly you start spilling another one on the ground, and it wasn't your plan, and things just go bad. So this guy, am I ready to actually start using it? I don't think there's much more to tell you. We've got the tractor chosen, so B. Let's turn this guy off. Where is he? That one off. Now there is one more thing to tell you. So cruise control, how does that guy work? 1, 2, and 3, if I remember. It doesn't say there. If I hit G again. Well, that's interesting. I would have thought cruise control would be on the tractor, but it's grayed out. Well, cruise control up and down is 1 and 2, and 3 is to turn it on. So if I do 1 and 2, what have we got? There we go. Bottom right of the screen down there. If I get into this mode, it's a little bit quieter. So you see at bottom right in that menu, first of all, you got 349 liters of fuel. I wish you would switch to gallons. So not everything will switch over from metric to standard. So we're dealing in metric fuel and miles per hour. But down below that, you've got 0. So if I hit the 2, it'll take us up to whatever speed you want the cruise control to be operating at. So each vehicle will run at a different cruise control based upon what it's operating. If I take it up to 20, this one only goes to 14. Okay. As you're running it, you'll see that it'll max out. The game will automatically take you to the max that the harvester is able to go at when it's baling, or when it's running the head out there, when it's harvesting. So whatever that is, it'll give you a sense of what your cruise control can be set at. But you can hit 3 to turn on your cruise control, then you don't have to hold the button down there or hold your foot on the pedal to move forward, which is really convenient. But let's go ahead and move this guy forward a bit. Aim us over there. We can look out. I wonder what runs the wipers. I don't know. Not all the buttons are in that menu over there. W doesn't. P takes you to the store, which right there we've got a store with all kinds of things to look at. We can search by brand. brand or shop. You look at see what things are for sale. There's so much to show you about the game before we actually play the game. Double click on them, it makes them work. So back, yeah, it takes you out. Garage is the vehicles that you already own, and a little bit of detail about them. And you can customize some of these vehicles. You can have different options added to them. You can change the tires for different uses. But let's back out of there, all the different things you can buy. We'll get into that some other time. Back into here. So I don't know what wipers are, but I'm pretty sure the wipers work. Haven't actually tried it this version. But, let's see here. Let's turn F1 off so we can see what we're doing. And let's get out of the vehicle so we can watch it actually work. So I'm going to back up a little bit, make sure we're lined up. H will hire a worker to run it for you, and he will do a good job of running back and forth pretty straight in the rows. But we're going to run this one by ourselves so we can see how it works. So W, just take off here, and we are harvesting. See the stubble left behind, and it maxed out at 6 miles an hour, so now we know where our cruise control can set out. So we can hit the 1 down to 6 down there, like that, and hit the 3. There we go, and it's going to take off on its own. I don't have to worry about running the speed anymore. I can just steer with my A and D, or you can turn your steering wheel if you've got one. Anyway, we have a choice of either dumping the chaff or the straw all ground up onto the ground behind us, and we can go back and bale that. See, B will turn off. I'm going to stop right here. B will turn off this, or I've got it actually mapped to my mouse. So B, right next to my thumb, will do that, which is really convenient. Anyway, you can choose whether you want the straw to dump off behind. You can come back and bale it, or you can get a loading wagon, which is probably what I will do at first, as soon as I can afford it, and pick up the straw, and then you can go out to your barn, which is right over there, and actually sell it. Dump it into the barn. It will give you a little bit of money over there. At the top right of the screen, you see we've got $20,000 in spending cash available to us. Or you can hit the wrong button, F1, and G. Not there. There we are. Disable straw swath was with a comma. So, do we have an animation in here if we do that? Ah, we do. So, do it this way, and it disperses it all over the field. So we'll do one pass with that, so that you don't leave the straw behind. You don't have to deal with it. Don't have to worry about it. It'll disperse it all over the field, and you can plow it back in or cultivate it in. It'll won't officially act as a fertilizer, but in a role-playing way, you can imagine that it does add some texture to the soil. But we're going to go ahead and we'll do one swath with it spraying the other way, so you can see how that works. So let's turn this guy off so we can get our view back. Let's jump into the, well, I'm going to say let's jump into the cab, but yeah, we will eventually, but right now I kind of want to see all the animations out here. So go like so, line ourselves back up again, about like that. Okay, so B turns that back on again, and get going again, hit the 3, and that will get our cruise control going. So I wanted to get out here so you can see how some things are working. First of all, you can see the steering. But if you look up in here, you see that the seed is dropping in or being piped in. The auger is spreading it out, and there's our capacity right there. Look at the bottom right. How are we lined up here? We're off. Yeah, we're off. The fields are not all level. And as your tractor starts to lean, it'll start to drift. And you do have to actively steer this guy to keep yourself lined up properly. It will not stay straight all the time. There is a GPS mod that will help you deal with all that. Turn the head off and spin around over here. I know we didn't see. I didn't notice let's do that again so we can notice the chaff being spread out. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can see this better. Like so. Let's back up. But I do want to save the straw, but we'll do it one more time just so I can show you that part. Alright, so turn this guy on, and 3 for cruise control. So now instead of putting it into a nice even row, we are dispersing it out. There's the animation for that. And That way we're not going to have to deal with a big pile of straw. We're going to go ahead and reset that. Lowers it down and piles it up so that we can profit from that. So we'll let that run. What was I saying? Below the fuel over there, the 347 liters, you see we're at closing in on 1,500 something, 23%. So that is the capacity of this hopper here. You see when we're going to need to fill up, or to empty it actually. So turn this guy off, spin around. What I like to do when I do these things is do something like this. I missed a little bit, didn't I? Nope, I got it. And then we'll actually I would normally leave an extra row in between. I'll show you how I typically do it. And I'll do it different ways, just so it's not always the same. But kind of do some lazy loops through here and kind of develop a pattern. Kind of go out halfway into the field and cut through, then come back to the beginning, do that half, and swing back out to the half again. And anyway, so you're getting a sense of how this is working. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clean this up so I can show you how to hire workers. And turn that off. You don't have to turn this guy off. It works whether you have that running or not. It's not going to actually grab grass and weeds and start throwing it into there. But for realism, I go ahead and do it. But we'll go ahead and lower that one down. Let's drop back into the cab a little bit here. What I want to do is even this out so we can hire a worker, and we go grab the tractor and the trailer and dump it off and show you how that works. But trying to figure out, again, how to record these videos. There are going to be times where we're going to spend a full hour just on one field. Some of these fields are that big. And that's going to get a little bit boring. So watching Dagger when he will just clip out a big section of it and cut away to a segment of the video that's further along. What I might try to do is do a little bit of time lapse, a little bit of music, and get a time lapse going, and so you can see all the steps rather than miss it all. But it'll be at a speed greatly sped up, so that you're not having to wade through 40 minutes of the harvester going back and forth and back and forth. But whoa, much faster when we're not doing that. Anyway, let's be in 3 and get this going again. We'll clean this up. It's going to take 2 rows to do it right. Then we'll set them up so that the hired hand could do it. We'll go grab the tractor and show you how that works. You can drive through the field here and not harm anything. So for the sake of realism, I try to drive on the side of the harvester that is not going to crush and crumple the crop behind us, but it doesn't actually harm anything. You can get a mod that will crush and ruin the crop if you drive through the field, but it's a bit unrealistic. I was watching Dagger when he used that just tonight in one of his videos, and even when you're between the rows, you still manage to smash everything. So I won't be putting that. In fact, I don't think I'm going to be putting any mods on, or if I do, it'll be very few. I like to play a game mostly in its vanilla form. They worked really hard to make this game. I'm going to enjoy the way they created it. You don't really need the mods, at least not first run through. We may do something different if we do this again. Let's see, B3. This ought to finish off this row. Then we'll set up the harvester to run on hired hand. We'll go and get a trailer and show you how you can do 2 things at once. Eventually we'll be doing 3 and 4 things at once. We'll get a tractor that's sowing a field, putting seed in there. We get another one that is plowing and cultivating a field, and while I'm still running a harvester, and then I'm out actually over in the trailer dumping the harvester. So we can have 4 different things running at once, as well as a cultivator and making seed over in another field, as we buy more and more fields. This is pretty well cleaned up here. The computer, the AI, does a pretty good job if you give it a straight field to begin with. So it has a little bit of trouble when you've already done half of a row and kind of bailed out, and then set the AI to go do something that's not even. It'll get to the end and try to figure out what you wanted, but sometimes it won't be right. So if you hit the H, he will start up on his own. We have hired a worker there, entirely different person in there. That's not me anymore, obviously. And G is going to operate that one. He will let us jump out a lot louder down here. I have to talk a lot louder when I'm running out there. Let's get away from that guy so you can hear me again. There we go. Run down here to this tractor. Another case tractor. Good quality one too. Not the best, but if you played Farming Simulator 2013, you start off with some old equipment from like the 1960s. Fun to drive, but it was old stuff. Alright, this one does not have the ability to attach a weight, it looks like, but we can hook up a trailer of some kind there. What is that little mechanism out front? Looks like it slides into a slot there. Maybe that is a built-in weight. Kind of looks like one. I'm going to say it is. So it's got a weight built into it. We're going to hit Q to attach our trailer here, which just attaches to a ball. But you do have a 3-point hitch in there, as well as a power takeoff. Right? No, maybe not. This does not have a power takeoff. I thought it... Oh, there it is, right there. Little tiny shaft sticking out the bottom. So that is your power takeoff for equipment that like a sower that has a machine inside that has to spin. So some tractors have got a power takeoff out the front, as well as a 3-point hitch out the front, and as well as the ability to hook up a front loader out the front. So lots of different features and lots of different tractors. But we're going to fire this guy up. They all sound different. Let's hop inside here. Now I'm not going to hear much sound. I think you guys can hear the sound much better than me. For me, it's almost silent. So I've had to turn it way down. In fact, let me turn my speakers up just a little bit. Nice to be able to immerse in the game a little bit more. Anyway, we're going to need to dump that harvester pretty soon, but we've got a trailer over here. Let's see, hit the F1, and yeah, so if we hit the G, you see that we're on the... it's not working. What am I doing wrong here? Well, that's right. G is now switching me from tractor to trailer. Maybe both the controls are into one menu here. Anyway, you can choose how you want to tip this one. So what is it? The U? Yeah, the U will let us choose between tipping it to the side. Tip side grain door. Okay, so left side or right side or back. Okay, the whole grain door? No, I see. That's just that little slot right there. Otherwise, we have the back or we have the left and right. Okay. And close the cover. So cover is N. So we can put a cover on this thing in the rain. I have not played this in the rain, so I don't know. See, our harvester filled up. I talked too long. And there's a little warning there. Helper 1 has a full grain tank. So that's something new for this version, too. Nice to have that. So anyway, I have not played in the rain, so I don't know if the crop is harmed or if that's just for the sake of role-playing. So N will give you a cover, as well as N will open up different doors on the top of your equipment. So anyway, let's jump into this guy, or let's just take off. Let's turn off that menu so we can see better. And I see I'm going to have no choice but to pull in and crush some of the grain because I didn't get there in time. And normally while he's driving, you run alongside and fill up. But we're going to go ahead and drive through the grain this time. But as you come alongside, the helper is going to detect you and automatically kick out the tube. So hopefully you can hear me out here, and it's going to start dumping. You can only have one kind of grain in your trailer at a time, so that's telling me that wheat is in there, and is a percentage of how much. See if I can back out. There we go. I can talk a little bit. How much percentage of the trailer is available? So we're going on about a third full right now. And if you got inside of the other one, you'd be able to see this dropping. So no, I got on the wrong one. Try that again. See if there's time. Let's go to this side. There we go. So we are almost done. 10% left in this one. And then get back in this one. And the harvester's going to take off. We want to get out of his way, because you'll see he gets quite dramatic in his ability to turn around. So he'll swing off to the right, which will give you the back of the harvester or different equipment swinging off to the left and hitting you. No, he's going straight. He's doing a lot of calculating, trying to figure out how to make that turn. Yeah, so if you're in the way, then he'll just sit there and wait for you. Anyway, let's let him do her. That's right, there's a her in there. Let her do her thing. And where are we? We got to go out over there near that barn. So let's go this way. We'll kind of drive through the grass. Not as realistic as I like, but we'll jump the curb over here. Anyway, let's head over here to the... let's jump in the cab here. Hit the brakes, look around. We do have traffic. Ooh, that's quite a blind spot. Can't really look out there. There we go. So let's head out over here on the road. Get used to me using my pedal. There we go. And down the road here is our silo. This is where we store our grain. See, I'm coming up on an hour already in this video, getting close to it. So let's dump off this grain, then we'll call this one done, and I'll just jump right into recording again for the next one. Get into more steps. So I'm going to jump outside. I can see this a lot better, and you can see it too better. As we get into here, it'll give us a little bit of a tool tip to show us what this is all about. Your silo is for temporary storage of your commodities. Drive over the unloading spot with a full trailer and unload its content. A symbol is displayed to the right as soon as you're in it, in position to start unloading, and then to retrieve it, you go over to the other side there where you see those yellow and black marks. And below the pipe on the other side, and the trailer will unload. Will be loaded into whatever you choose. We'll do that someday too, and you'll see how that works. But let's head out over here. I don't believe you can fall in if your tire misses and hits that pit there, but for realism, you want to try to hit it. Zoom in here a little bit. Yeah, hit the brakes and stop there. So you can choose to tip to one side or the other. Let's tip out the back just to see how that looks. And we'll try and do it differently each time. So you will do the back side. So let's see what that does. So the tip is Y, right? Unload, I. So it's I in this one. And you can change all those. So in this case, the whole back door will pop open and dump out. Otherwise, you'll see a side door hinge open, just like this one's hinging from the top. Or you'll see just that little red door right there if you set it to dump out that way. So you can dump it into a much smaller space if you need to. So, tell you what, with that, let's just call this one done. And how do I want to stop these episodes? I don't know. Well, we'll just do that for the moment. Anyway, that game is paused. So we'll call this one done. This has been Noble Rambler. Leave comments down below. Tell me what you think. I'm going to take this series nice and slow. You head over to Daggerwind if you want to watch something that's going a lot faster. Vapa's even threatening to start up a series with this. Don't know if he's going to do it or not. He's talking about it. So something he's trying to decide between this and Civ 6. Both great games. So maybe at the very least we'll get him to pop into the game. Many episodes in the future when I've got enough equipment so that he can hop in and drive something. It'd be kind of fun. Anyway, I'm not going to be running a server, so don't need to ask in the comments if you can join. I don't have the equipment to do that. I'm not going to pay for a server at this time. I've got the one gaming computer, and to run a server, I could run it right off of my own computer, but I use this computer to record other games and to render videos, so there's no way to do that consistently. So there won't be any kind of a multiplayer with subscribers or anything like that with this series. It's possible in the future, if this becomes big enough, we could do something like that, but not in the plans at the moment. So anyway, hit the like and subscribe down there if you would. I'd appreciate it, and I will catch you next time. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.